Hello, and welcome to the Fear Channel, a channel with regular broadcasts telling the most chilling of urban legends, ghost stories, and forays into the darkest corners of the human mind. Those faint of heart or prone to night terror should proceed at their own risk. Tonight's story is the Foo Fighters of World War II and the Korean War. The Foo Fighter phenomenon began when multiple pilots during the Korean and Second World Wars started seeing strange lights and shapes in the sky during missions and routine training exercises. The term comes from the French word feu, which means fire. A popular American comic strip called Smokey Stover, which was about a fireman, used the term regularly. Since American fighter and convoy pilots knew the term, and since many of the unidentified flying objects had the appearance of fiery balls in the night sky, the term caught on and was used regularly. The first sightings occurred in November of 1944, when pilots flying over Germany by night reported seeing fast-moving round glowing objects following their aircrafts. The objects were variously described as fiery and glowing red, white, or orange. Some pilots described them as resembling Christmas tree lights, and reported that they seemed to toy with the aircraft, making wild turns before simply vanishing. Pilots and air crew reported that the objects flew formation with the aircraft, and behaved as if under intelligent control, but never displayed hostile behavior. However, they could not be outmaneuvered or shot down. On the 13th of December 1944, the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force in Paris issued a press release, which was featured in the New York Times the next day, officially describing the phenomenon as a new German weapon. Interestingly enough, when Axis powers encountered these strange lights in the sky, they assumed it was a new Allied weapon. Former Air Force fighter pilot Bob Leroy claimed to have seen many Foo Fighters during his time serving during World War II. Sometimes he would see a single or several balls of light flying in formation. Other times there would be silver spheroid shapes. Typically there would be 1 to 4 of them flying together in intricate patterns. He assumed they must have had some sort of intelligent guidance system in place to be able to maneuver the way that they did. Another Air Force convoy pilot, Robert May, described seeing a single bright orange glowing light. It flew parallel to his craft and maintained speeds that he described as being between 200 and 300 miles per hour. Pilots like himself are trained to detect various aircraft in the sky, even at a distance, because it is tantamount to their survival and mission success. He knew that this was not a typical craft that could have been in Nazi or Allied hands. May mentions how militaries of various countries thought the Foo Fighters were technological advancements of enemy countries. Different countries came up with different nicknames for these strange balls in the sky. While the Americans called them Foo Fighters, the Germans called them kraut balls. Native American tribes referred to them as metallic birds. It is likely that modern pilots would have just referred to these crafts as flying saucers, but that term was not commonly used in the 1940s and 50s. Regardless of their name, aviation experts agree that the specs on these crafts did not match any terrestrial technology at the time. The Foo Fighters' flight dynamics were more advanced than any military flying craft. Their luminous energy output was simply too great. No known light source could match it, and it could be sustained for far too long a time to match any known aircraft power source available. Radar scans of the objects indicated that they were too lightweight to be a manned aircraft. Notably, the United States Air Force, by executive order of President Truman, was commanded to shoot down all Foo Fighters. Albert Einstein, who had been working with the Allied military at the time, intervened, saying not to shoot these crafts as too little was known of their origin or intent. A peaceful approach was a much better option. Shortly thereafter, Truman rescinded the order. Perhaps the most fascinating of all Foo Fighter experience stories comes from a French pilot who only gave the name Jean. During an encounter with a Foo Fighter, he received a telepathic communication from one of the beings aboard the ship. They stated that they had come to Earth from a different dimension. Since his encounter, he has been able to telepathically communicate with the beings at will. He says that they only respond to questions of notable importance and will not respond to frivolities. One time, he asked them what would be the key to human survival. He received the answer, universal love.